Okay, we're back. This is part 2 of Andromedan channeling with the Zaahyin priest, Avin. Number 15, and this is part 2. And we've been talking about a few questions regarding to the Alex Collier information and just some, finer parts of things that, seem to hang out in the balance between what he knew and said from his Andromedan contacts and what we know and are getting from today. Some of his material he talked about. There's roughly, I think I have this right, 124. Well, at the time of the information he was getting anyway, so this might go back a few decades, but 124 billion humans of, different various, races, but humans nonetheless, in our galaxy alone.
More.
Has it gone up substantially more?
Well, it's always been substantially more. But
oh, really?
yes.
So that's a low figure.
Yes.
And we're just talking this galaxy. So what are we talking, like 200 billion, 300 billion?
More like 185 billion in that area.
Okay.
But then again, this fluctuates.
Wow.
And with what's going on now, it may fluctuate very much in the near future. There is a heightening of the tensions and stress and war. But then again, we're trying to keep it basically away from your world, so your people don't have to suffer through it.
Well, my gosh, I mean, we probably live in one of the more, without being a world that's where people are completely, have no freedom whatsoever, and they're complete slaves. Granted, we've heard there are planets and places like that exist. But those people, thankfully, and I don't say this in a joking manner, but thankfully they're drugged down enough that they really don't realize it anymore. The slave conditions they live in. But outside of that situation, it's from what I've heard and sense, that we live in one of the more extreme planets that out there when it comes to discomfort, in this part of the universe, right?
It was the intent actually for the same thing to be done to your planet. This is what the reptilian former empire does.
Right.
Did. And they used drug trade to generate funds for those who are expanding and extending the effort in space in a way that is meant to take over other worlds while dumbing down and drugging down, and as well as dragging down your own population, so that they too are under the control of those who supply the chemicals. But then again, this has been interrupted, and your people have so much vitality that you're standing up against this.
Yeah.
Now, as I have said, this may or may not make sense to anyone listening to this.
Okay.
And I cannot make guarantees on that issue. But we cannot go to any race, yours included, and simply say, okay, we're going to clean house and make everything happy for you.
Yeah.
We can't. We're not allowed to. It's something that has to be chosen by those races who need the help.
Kind of like the Prime Directive in Star Trek.
A TV show. Okay. Yes. Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
We have known, in fact, one of the problematic issues has been that you have had a technology like what you would see on Star Trek for some time, even going back to the 1920s.
Yeah, that's amazing.
But the thing is, as problematic as you can be, and with some of the arrangements that your people had made behind the scenes with other races, offering them more weapons, more technology, more drugs as well. Then you became a loose cannon, and one that had a lot of us quite concerned about what you would do next.
Yeah.
But even with that, we could not come in and say, wait, let's make it all better.
And then the
as much as we
compound
may
things.
wish to.
Yeah, and then the compound things, let me say, and if you want to comment on this, go, feel free, of course. But the fact that on several accounts, I'm not going to get into details, but just to say, on several different accounts and circumstances, aliens that really don't give a shit about us gave us technology that we shouldn't have had, that we should never had our hands on, that we weren't adult enough to handle responsibly. And one of these things was time travel. What came out of the Montauk, the Montauk chair, that whole thing, as I understand it, actually came from the Greys, I think. And that gave us the ability to go off and from what I understand, there is a planet hundreds of light years away from here, in another solar system, maybe 1,000 light years, where there is a human colony of humans from here. That they showed up there with weapons on a planet that basically people were living very low key, not kind of like the Native Americans were that are here, right? And they took over the planet, and they're still there today. Is that ring a bell?
Let me answer it for you this way. Some of your carvings that you have noticed from the area of ancient Egypt, have images that shouldn't be there.
Like what do you mean?
Speedboats, helicopters, UFOs, as you call them.
Yeah.
Saucers, or whatever you wish to call them. But then there was a group that also was doing time travel during the time of what you call the Nazi Empire here. And one of the things they did was to go back into the past.
So that's how that happened.
They thought they could ensure the future for themselves, and it didn't work the way they thought.
I thought maybe that the Egyptians or whoever did those carvings, we're looking into some type of view. I forget what the military calls it, but like one of those view scopes, you can look into the future, and they saw some of these things in the future, and they decided they'd memorialize them on their walls.
No.
But yeah, some of them. Like one, for instance, clearly is a helicopter. Helicopters are fairly,
Look at the type of helicopter.
like one of those kind they had in Vietnam, those giant Huey military helicopters.
No. Stealth.
Well, that's what I meant.
They weren't stealth.
Well, the stealth came a little bit later. But
guess who had them before then? The Nazis.
Oh, really?
Many of them were developing.
Oh,
and
really?
They had another 6 months worth of wartime.
Because there was a movie. Are you talking about? Oh, geez, you might not know this reference, but you're really quick. You could probably pick it up. There was a movie. I think it came out in 1978 called Black Thunder, and at the time people thought, it was just like almost science fiction. But what it was is it was these cops and I think it was Los Angeles got a military grade helicopter, and it could do just all kinds of crazy technology that people didn't think was available. And I've always learned right around that time, I was a teenager myself, but I was starting to learn that when they release technology in movies, usually they've had that tech out for 10, 20, 30 years, before, and they're just kind of leaking it out to people, getting their consciousness, look what we have, look what we can do. And then this helicopter But the everyday person thought this was just science fiction because they never imagined a helicopter could see through walls, had heat-seeking vision, had mounted missiles, and also this helicopter could do loops in the air like a plane. Oh, and it had a silent mode. It had a whisper mode that they could put on, and somehow it was some kind of contrasting airwaves. It would knock out the sound, so it could be completely silent. It could sneak up on you, and you wouldn't even know it was there.
Well, these had help, again, from the Nazi Empire. I do not wish to spend that much time about
Of course
what
not.
you call the Nazis because they're not worth it. But so much came about from them and their own cleverness, their own ingenuity.
Yeah.
But also the deals they were making, some of them involving what you would call metaphysics.
Yes.
And they even began to fuse metaphysics with technology.
Yes.
It was frightening. Your world at that time was right on the precipice of taking a turn which would have meant that we, and by we I mean the Andromedan Alliance, would have to come in and have basically ended life on Earth. We would have...
It came close, huh?
We would have totally vaporized your entire planet into dust.
And that was around the time of the Second World War?
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, something that needs to be dealt with that is indirectly attached with this.
Yeah.
There are those who have escaped to the moon and Mars and beyond.
They got past.
Yes.
Huh.
And we're talking back in the 1930s and 40s and 50s. And we have taken pains, you might say, to
Round them up?
slow them down, round them up, and to wipe some of them out. Let it be known, by the way, to those who are perhaps to hear this, to watch this, on a Martian-based situation, we're watching you.
Good.
And you cannot leave your planet now without our permission.
Okay.
We have said that a line has been drawn in the stars. Humans have a term, make book on it.
Yeah.
And things in your world are changing because finally your people began to get on the move, even though they may or may not have had public support or public knowledge. They simply could not tolerate what was being done and what was being offered for the near future. And so when you began making a move to make things better, we could join in. And we are. And it's far from complete at this time.
Yeah, well, it's serious. And I'm, again, just to say, God knows how many people have been killed. They've literally given their life, Avin, trying to do the right thing.
And we're here to help.
And we're talking not just people, in 9-to-5 jobs, writing letters or being spiritual. I mean, literally giving their life, going against, law in what is so-called legal. Doctors, the last so many years, they have killed off hundreds of holistic doctors that have found, ways of curing cancer. That truly, for real, curing cancer, and that have had their lives, killed, taken out, and they've been disappearing. There's a couple sites I ran across, and it's just so sad. You can't immerse yourself in too much negativity, but I am aware of it, and as a lot of people are. That chart and keep track of this, and in the last 5 years, there's been hundreds of holistic doctors and doctors that are accredited, with the normal accreditations, but choose to go different routes as well, and embraced different routes as well, and found themselves under mysterious circumstances, either abruptly shot somewhere or suicided, or they themselves came down with cancer. Cancers that kill in less than a month. And that's something that we know that they have the ability to do. Dose somebody with all kinds of stuff that brings on aggressive cancer. So a lot of people are literally giving their lives to try to turn this world around. So that's dedication in my book.
It's our dedication to them to help bring a better world about. But we, again, are not allowed to do it for you. But we have to do it with you.
Yeah.
With that, this is the end of this communication. We will be handling a different topic on our next one.
Okay. I mean, we still have 15 minutes. You sure you don't want to comment on anything? Can you comment on what happened last week that you started to comment on, but you said you had to wait?
I know what that was about, but I've been told I should not say it.
Yeah.
There is something that I do need to bring up. That's the comment I made about the book of Ezekiel in your Bible.
Oh.
You do not have the entirety of that book. No one does.
Oh, okay.
But the book I was actually referring to that has not been allowed into your Bible.
Yes, Enoch, right?
Enoch.
That's what Bob and I figured. When you said the book of Ezekiel wasn't in the Bible, I knew there was something else to it, but I interrupt you so much as it is. I didn't want to bother you about that.
Your faith is not mine, so there's the difference.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna sweat it, and nobody mentioned it during the week in comments either. But Bob and I picked up on it, and for the record, I'm glad you did mention it. Okay, I'll let you go, but just let me ask one last thing that is very pertinent, and we talked about a lot of heavy stuff last time. And one of the things that kind of got left off, but is huge right now, it's coming down the pike. It's being unrolled in cities all around the world very quickly. Laws are being enacted that don't give people choice, and that is 5G. Can you guys please?
That a little bit last time.
We mostly talk about chemtrails. I don't remember you talking much about 5G.
5G works when you have access to the satellite web or net system orbiting over your Earth. And we are letting certain companies know that we will shut those systems down. We won't cause them to crash into the atmosphere. We will simply shut access down.
All right, so you definitely, got our backs, and you're not going to let them unroll 5G because they're as I speak, they're putting these towers up everywhere, and a lot of people think, they're being told, it's being sold to us as the next generation of Wi-Fi. But as I understand it, it is very different from Wi-Fi. It's not the next generation. It's a completely whole different thing, and it's so powerful and different that it doesn't broadcast much more than between 500 and 1,000 feet. So for the thing to work at all, they have to put these things up one on every block. So I mean, and still people.
There's more to it that you're not aware of.
Well, that's just one aspect of it.
It's intended in the near future to be used in helping to interface between technology and the human brain.
I know
when
that.
the two come together.
I
do not mean by sending waves out to control a person.
No, I know. I know. Turning people into robotic, autonomic, fully autonomic. That's the end thing with that. But in the meantime, also, and I was just listening to a broadcast from a woman who was in the military in electronics and radar in the 70s. She said they had and were using this very same technology, this EMF and these the same kind of waves that are microwave technology as warfare, and the very reason, the primary first reason would be that they're rolling these out under the guise of communication, is that they are literally posting up, getting ready for an assault against the world's people, and because they can very, very quickly kill people with this.
Again, you have to understand that's if you have access to the satellite net that makes it possible.
Yeah. All right. Well,
and we are running into some issues with your government, but then again, we're also letting individuals know that they are not eternal.
Well, good. I mean, because if that happens, I mean, that's game over. I mean, really and truly, we can fight all kinds of stuff, but that could really, be a swift determining factor. All right, I guess I should let you go. You want to go? You don't want to say any more about anything?
Not tonight.
All right. Should we look forward to next weekend?
We will see. Let's hope.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you very much, Avin. Tell the Andromedans on your ship hello, and have a good night.
And good night to you and one and all.
Thank you. All right, people. Another interesting show there. Hope you enjoyed it. Got any questions? Write them down. Don't get too crazy. And like always, please subscribe. Help our channel grow. We don't have any commercials. We don't plan to have any in the foreseeable future. This is a labor of love, but it's only going to work if you get the word out, share, talk to your friends and loved ones. Take care. Good night.